Level 4, Step 6, Student Pages. You'll read the Lesson 1 words, pyramids, and story with your child. The words and pyramids are located at the end of the instructor's guide, but they're also located within the student pages. Depending on your style as an educator and how the flow works for you, you can read them in either book. Some parents like to just be able to flip back and read them really fast. Some like the child to have more ownership, so they use the student pages. Do whatever works. When we are looking at the student pages, you'll see that for level 4, most lessons have 2 sets of words. The first set of words will have your child practice what you just learned. So I recommend putting the paper, folded piece of paper underneath and only showing that first set, and have your child read the words, and you can draw that arrow from the E to the A, or you can highlight the A if that's helpful, because that's what you were just working on. You'll also notice that our heart word of the lesson is in there. That also helps the child see that in context. And lesson 1B has the words but combined with other skills you've already learned. So you'll see there's an S at the end. We have, a WH. We have a PH. Some of these a little bit more complicated concepts are in the second set of words. So you'll go through and you will practice these as many times as your child needs in order to become fluent with the words. You can do them a couple of times on the lesson, and then when you pause after 5 lessons and go back to review, you can have your child review these every day, and it can build their reading speed. For the pyramid, I recommend the same thing. Have a folded up piece of paper. Your child will read the first word, Nate, and then for the second one, they'll read Nate will, and Nate will skate. This helps their fluency because maybe they read the first one and they read Nat or not. You'll prompt them and say, try again. Remember that E is going to make that A say its name, and they'll say Nate. Then when they read it the second time, they'll have that word fresh in their brain and they'll read Nate will. If your child truly can read these very confidently, you can just have them read the sentence at the bottom, but it really does help children to build fluency and reading speed by doing these repeated readings. So the word pyramids are an important element to include. After you have read the words and the pyramids, there are also stories that are located within the student pages. So every lesson has a story that highlights the lesson that they're learning. Most of the stories in level 4 talk about a group of friends, and they like to visit a lake, and they go to school, and they do different fun things together. So they can be, are designed to be of interest to the kids. Talks about some animals and their pets that they have. And they do often have the same characters that build upon each other. So that is how you complete step 6. And again, you will just read the words as many times as your child needs in order to build fluency. That's our main goal with step 6. Make sure I have it all. I also recommend every so often asking your child what a word means to make sure that they're hearing the word correctly. You can sometimes do an easy word, and sometimes they'll think it's funny. Or maybe there's a word like rate. Rate is a word your child might have heard before, but they might not be able to articulate the meaning. So you can use that as a chance to build vocabulary as well. And that is the last step for each lesson. And again, you can do this in one day or you can spread it across several days, whatever works best for your family.